So we've got to find all the values for x that makes this right side less than 0. Alligator is eating the 0. That means the inequality wants 0 to be greater than everything. So that means everything over here has to be less than 0. And when I'm dealing with quadratics, I keep a good rule of thumb in my mind that having a be negative is a bad thing. I'm going to divide everything by -1. Dividing everything in an inequality or an equation is perfectly fine, but if you divide by a negative number in an inequality, the old rule is that you have to flip the inequality symbol. Oops, and I didn't do that. There we go. I had to flip this symbol because I chose to divide everything by a negative. Okay, and I did that because now this is the easier factoring method. A is 1. So that means I can factor by starting off with 2 parentheses, both which start with an x. That way we have an x times x makes an x squared. And I just need to think of 2 numbers that multiply to be -12, but add it to be -7. And there are no 2 numbers that meet those criteria. So I can't solve this with the factoring method. What we can do, though, if we ever have a quadratic, and we want to do some solving with it, we can use the quadratic formula. But we need to know what solving will do for us. So first, old thing about quadratics, if this is a positive, then we know the graph is going to look something like this, like a U. If A is positive, which it is, it's a positive 1, it's going to make some sort of U shape. Not necessarily exactly in this position, but a U shape. If A is negative, then it would just be a downward facing parabola. But it's going to look something like this. If we use the quadratic formula to solve for the value of x, that's going to tell us the zeros of the quadratic. So it's going to tell us where it crosses the x-axis. We'll just have to do some testing to see if it's okay. But yeah, let's go through the quadratic formula. Let's do the quadratic formula and find the zeros for this. And in the quadratic formula, a is going to be 1 for our problem because of the 1 right here. B is going to be -7, and C is going to be -12. So plugging them in to the quadratic formula, a -7 makes a +7. -7 squared minus 4 times A times C, all being divided by 2A. So if you've gotten this far with quadratics, chances are you've seen quadratic formula before. If you have trouble with these steps, make sure to check out a video about solving quadratics. But I'm going to jump right down to the answer here for this quadratic. Just want to mention one thing right here. I had a 4 times 1 times -12 that makes -48. I'm doing minus a -48 here. So we got square root of 97. We need a calculator to find out what that is. And we do it once for plus. We do 7 plus square root of 97 over 2. And we do 7 minus square root of 97 over 2. So after using a calculator, you should get, for this one, should get these two numbers. So let's go back to my rough sketch. Obviously it's way off. I was just making an estimate of, just trying to demonstrate the idea of a quadratic having a U shape if this is 1. So let's make a more accurate sketch. Our quadratic looks something like this, except it should be -1, should be somewhere out here. -1.484 is at 1 0 of the x, and 8.484 is the other 0. It means it's going to cross somewhere over there. Because this is U shape, we know that all the values in between these are less than 0, are negative. All the values to the left and to the right of these crossing points are positive. In our original inequality, after we rewrote it, we were looking for all the values that were greater than 0. So where is this inequality positive? It's positive for all the values less than, oops, that's the wrong graph. All the values less than -1.484 and all the values greater than 8.484 because that's where we're in the positive side of y. So x is less than -1.484, x is greater than 8.424. That's our final answer.